Hey folks, how's it going? We're checking out more One Foot in the Grave. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. Somebody did message me and let me know this is a sad episode. So I assume somebody is going to die. I don't know. It could be just that it's the last episode. And it could be just sad because they're going to do like a compilation or something like that showing all these moments or something. Or maybe a character's going to move away and make it really sad. But if somebody warned me to have tissues, I'm assuming somebody's going to pass away. I'm not necessarily saying that's a spoiler, but it does with the way my brain works. It's like prepping me to fortify myself, if that makes sense. I don't know. Because that's just how I do. When I know something's going to be sad, I prep myself for it. If it was a surprise thing, yeah, I probably would have cried. I might still, because the writing's good enough, if the moment's set up enough, and you see the emotions of all these characters around the moment, and the music and all that kind of stuff is set up well, it's probably still going to hit me, man. So I just don't know how things are going to work out. But somebody did tell me it's a sad episode to bring tissue, so I have tissue right here just in case. I don't know what's going to happen. It could be Victor. I mean, he had a bunch of close calls already with him being knocked out of the window trying to save Patrick and stuff. So him get his butt whooped 1,000 times. We had Margaret almost died from like a heart attack, so that scare she could pass away in this episode. It could be like the neighbor for life. I can't think of his name, but he had that heartfelt conversation with Margaret episode back or 2 episodes back about how he's been spending his entire life like pushing old people around, but who's going to push him around, and how he kind of feels like he like possibly wasted his life after seeing an old boy on the television like living this best life, and then the dude died. So he's it kind of makes you realize you probably shouldn't question your life, and that he did make the right decisions, but it's still, you know, he's still in that place where he wish he had somebody. So it'd be sad to see him die because he never found love. I mean, it could be Jean. Jean is in a new relationship now that her husband left her. I think she's with the guy who like talks with the text-to-speech thing. But if she dies, that'd be still super sad after going through the divorce and everything. But at least she found some form of happiness. So maybe that won't be as impactful. It could be anybody, and it'll all be sad. Or as I said, it could just be that it's the last episode, and there's gonna be like these just sad moments of, I don't know, people growing apart or somebody moving away or something like that. I just don't know what it's gonna be because somebody just warned me that it's gonna be a sad episode. I don't know what it's gonna be, man. Like I said, I'm not necessarily saying it's a spoiler, but it has like wired in my head to kind of prepare myself. So I'm not sure how much I'm gonna like cry or whatever, but it has like kind of fortified me a little bit. But if the writing is really good, I might not be able to help it. We'll see, man. I know people like, don't help it, man. Just express your emotions. I don't know. I explained this like 1,000 times. I don't like crying. But as you guys know, there's a bunch of scenes in these shows that have gotten me, man. That have either made me tear up and it went back in. like I'm like, it's almost got me, man. And there's ones that just, yeah, I couldn't. It happened. It just streamed out. So we'll definitely see, man. We'll definitely see what happens in this. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am really, really looking forward to it. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. We'll talk about it more at the end. So yeah, shoe phone? Yeah, it looked like the sole of a shoe.
Hello. Yes, speaking. No. I've enjoyed listening to the complete works of Rachmaninoff through a plimsoll. It's brightened my day no end. Never mind. Well, it's about this private prosecution you're proposing to take out on my husband for an unprovoked physical assault on the 14th of June this year, to wit, the forcible insertion of a hypodermic syringe into our client's bottom, occasioning him actual bodily harm. Firstly, I have to say I'm amazed how long it's taken you to scrape some kind of case together on this one. Secondly, since your client's bottom was being thrust out of a car window at the time the attack took place, I'd hardly call it unprovoked. And thirdly, as my husband's now been dead for 5 months, I'd say your chances of getting a conviction are not especially high.
So it is Victor. They do it right at the beginning.
I most certainly am. Entirely serious. And if you want to go raking up evidence, why don't you try finding the piece of scum who sent him flying into the gutter that night without so much as stopping to see? If you would, please, yes. In the meantime, I can just file this away, can I, with all my other legal correspondence?
Damn, dude, right at the beginning, they tell us. It's cold-blooded, it is, Victor.
What's next?
I wonder how they're gonna keep this episode upbeat. After like saying he's dead.
Yes.
But is he actually dead though?
Mr. Gundry, do please come in.
Why won't she lie about that?
Mrs. Meldrew, how is it? You sounded rather agitated on the phone.
Yes, and it's hardly surprising, is it? The money this is costing me for what I hoped would be a precious and lasting memorial to my marriage.
Come on, man. That's nothing like him.
Agree on the composition, with you very slightly foreground.
I'm not talking about the composition. I'm talking about this. How many photograph albums did I give you to work from?
I'm sorry, I don't quite...
It's Alistair Sim, isn't it?
Alistair Sim? No. Do you think?
I don't know why you didn't just put him in drag as the headmistress of St. Trinian's and have done with it.
No. I'm afraid I'll have to take issue with you on that, Mrs. Meldrew. Alistair Sim had a much more rascally quality, which was quite different.
Yeah, what's this?
Best left till we're on our coffees, I think. I don't know, the problems just don't seem to go away these days, do they?
Oh, but then they never did.
Unbelievable. I sometimes think the entire human race has gone completely daffy. Do you know what they were doing up there at the supermarket when I called in for your cauliflower? Only filming a ruddy Christmas commercial for television in the middle of June. Ruddy Santa's elves dancing about and God knows what not. Get the whole car park covered in shredded paper, blowing it about here, there, and everywhere to look as if it's snowing. Look at that.
No.
I hate to think where else it's got to. Right up my exhaust, I'll bet £1 to a penny. You can get one of those things for testing your blood pressure.
You test my blood pressure.
A whole medical bag,
I suppose
bro.
this is going to be the new obsession now, is it?
Sorry?
He's
Ever
always
since you
been
picked up
obsessed
that leaflet in the
with
post
medical
office about
stuff.
heart disease.
Nothing. What does that mean? Neither dead or deaf. Haven't got much longer for this
It was
world, I
broken.
can tell you that much.
Excuse me, which one of us actually suffered a coronary last year? I seem to have forgotten.
Isn't that district nurse of yours coming round this afternoon? Perhaps she'll give me a quick check, just to make sure I'm still ticking over at any rate.
We'll see.
How far up's a rectal thermometer meant to go?
In the kitchen, bro.
106, this one says.
Okay, then, just try skipping to the bottom.
No. Is he gonna bust his stuff?
There, that's what we want. Now you've got a bit faint.
Yes, just a little.
No, I just wanted to check the balance. Yep, that's fine. If you could very quickly just get that off for me, that would be lovely.
This is pervert doing.
How's the little fella, by the way? Not playing up at all?
Is there something else I've got to worry about?
This is
No,
great.
just stick a first-class stamp on it. That'll be fine.
What?
Mr. Meldrew, we were saying, have you thought about taking up jogging at all?
Well, at least that bag of medical instruments came in handy in the end. I mean, what sort of brain disorder is it anyway that makes someone want to stick their bare backside out of a car window at you in the first place?
I
Needle
don't know,
incident.
but I don't suppose you'll be doing it again in a hurry, after you lobbed that hypodermic syringe into it like Eric Brister.
Lucky I didn't have a snooker cue. Anyway, it brought a bit of color to his cheeks. Bad enough falling asleep in that park with that sun cream lotion on and getting a face full of grass cuttings. Walking about like David Bellamy with green fly. That couple took one look at me and fell out of their boat. Heavens knows what they thought, that I had some form of hideous skin disease.
Oh, here we go again.
Everywhere under the sun. Look at that.
I wonder who this is from. Postmark Swansea.
Now then, what time's that film on that I want to record? 8:15? That just gives me over an hour to open this packet of videos. Oh, and why we ever thought it was a good idea to go and visit Cousin Ivor. Might know he'd just want to show off that new car of his. Made me feel that mine was just a heap of rust. Got me to look out of his electronic sunroof, and what happened? Ruddy panel jammed against my neck, and I got stuck there. Had to go all the way to the fire station with my head poking out the top like a ruddy tank turret.
I know. I was there, if you recall. A party his wife practically begged him to go to.
Oh,
Well,
wow, she's blaming herself.
You can't go on torturing yourself for something that wasn't your fault.
Oh, I'm afraid I can do a lot of things, Father, if I want to. Torturing myself is the least of them. You ask me how I'm coping. Shall I tell you? Exactly how I'm coping? By clinging to the hope that one day they'll find the bastard who was at the wheel of that car. Because if they ever do, I swear to God I'm going to kill him. With my bare hands, if necessary.
Oh,
And they
wow.
can do what they like with me. Trouble with the world nowadays. Nobody does anything about anything. Oh, Victor tried, God knows.
Yeah.
And look where it got him. It's all speed and greed. And he's probably better out of it.
Poor Margaret.
The pain is still raw, Mrs. Maljoy, I can see that. And how can I say I wouldn't feel the same in your shoes? But the measure of our strength as human beings is the goodness in our hearts. One day, as impossible as it seems right now, I pray that you'll find that strength. Strength to forgive.
Dude, stop. Why'd she have all these papers? Dude, it wasn't her that hit him, was it? Dude, stop. Dude, stop. Don't. Dude, shut the front door, bro. These are migraines. Shut the front door, bro.
Oh, dear God. Oh, Margaret. Margaret. What can I say? What can I possibly say? I was driving too fast. Of course I was. The hospital had rung up that night to say that Michael might not. And I was just... I mean, I should never have been on the road.
This is crazy.
I
man.
pulled up. I swear I would have gone back if I hadn't seen your car coming. But what could I do? I mean, by that time,
crazy.
To have to live with all that on top of losing Michael. Tomorrow, I'll tell her. Every night I have prayed to God for the strength, but I had to find you. You might have needed help, money, shoulder to cry on. Maybe just a friend.
She needs justice, lady.
I am so sorry.
Damn, Margaret has those freaking dead evil eyes right now. She is pissed. Did she overdose her? Did she forgive her? What'd she do? This is so wild, bro. This is so crazy. This lady put herself in Margaret's life. Alright, man. So, I'm leaning towards, because how sweet Margaret is, that she didn't kill her. She just gave her just enough to soothe her headache, and she's dealt with it long enough to forgive her. That's like 60% of me. Or I won't even give it 60%. That's 51% of me. 49% of me is thinking she killed the lady because of the speech she gave to the Reverend. Also, like, you know, speaking about like people would never do anything, and if she come across a person, she would kill him herself and all that. And I know they say statistically when women kill people, they go for poison. Like, they don't go for like how men usually end up killing people with knives and guns, stuff like that. Most women go for like non-aggressive approaches, like poison and stuff like that. I remember reading that or hearing that somewhere. So I can see her doing that because she might feel like nobody's going to do anything because it's her word against the ladies because they haven't found her yet. So she can go and say, well, this lady openly admitted to me, and then she just go to court and lie about it and still get off. So unless Margaret can empathize with the lady and say, like, you know, you did lose a husband, you were going through some stuff, yada, yada, yada. So I guess I can see where you're coming from, and you have these migraines and everything, so you screwed up, and mistakes happen. And Victor would have wanted me to forgive you. Maybe. I don't know. Because ultimately, Victor does have a good heart. As grumpy and stuff as he is, at the end of the day, he's a grumpy old man, but with a good heart that just expects order in life. Don't do crappy things. Don't throw trash people's grass. Don't, you know, just don't be crummy. Just don't be that person. So, but ultimately he's a good guy, and I don't think he would want Margaret to kill somebody for him. I think she would think about, like, what would Victor do? Victor wouldn't go as far as to kill somebody. So maybe she didn't do it. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say 51% of me says she didn't do it, but the other 49% is saying there's a possibility she did. But listen to that song like it's all right. It's probably like saying that like everything's gonna be all right and she's moving on with her life, and it's just the closure she needed. She just needed to know who did it. But just knowing isn't enough, man. She needs justice. If they would have showed the lady going out in handcuffs and stuff like that, or, I don't know, that would have just still left it up in the, I think they wanted to leave it up in the air where you kind of make the decision yourself and make you think about the character in a whole, and make you think like, how well do you know these characters? How well do you know Margaret? How do you feel? What decision would you make in that situation if you lost a loved one, like the love of your life that you've been with all this time? What would you do? And I think they just wanted to leave it in the audience hands and let it be, a toss of the coin, so that you can essentially make both sides happy. If a person will kill for their loved one, they're happy because they're like, yeah, Margaret did it. And if you're the type of person who will forgive, you'll never forget, but you'll forgive, then that side is automatically happy because it's ambiguous. You just don't know for sure. But I don't know. I'm like 51-49. That's tough, man. This is some good writing that they wrote, that this lady interjected herself into her life. She actually put herself into her life to try to like see if she needed like money or help and all that stuff. Like, lady, she needs justice, man. Turn yourself in. Like, I get it was a mistake. You lost somebody and all that jazz, but to be in somebody's life and be that way is just so terrible. It's just not. I don't care how kind and stuff you were. That shit, man. Like, God bless him. Maybe I feel like Margaret would have forgiven her if she would have came forward and was honest the entire time, but she didn't come forward, bro. You didn't come forward, man. That's just, God bless him. This is tough. This is crazy. This is very sad, but the fact that they did the episode by letting us know right in the beginning that Victor was dead, and they lifted that with so much comedy throughout the entire thing, it was I didn't get, it didn't make me cry or anything. I did well up a little bit when Margaret was talking about how Victor did things and how nobody wants to essentially do anything in the world. That was very sad, seeing Margaret go through that, and having the preacher try to how to give her back faith and all that stuff, and how you can kind of see Margaret in a sense just like it's like she lost faith in God. At the end of the day, that we're just what she say, like an opera or a drama or a soap opera or something like that, and like we're just characters, and when God's bored with it, he kills us off. And nobody does anything. If Victor always tries to do things, and she is absolutely right. And that did make me well up a bit, because Victor does try. As there's so many situations where I see Victor do stuff, like, you're just going to get your butt whooped. But at least he tries. And if everybody in the world at least tried to do things, it'd be a better place. If everybody spoke up when somebody does some shitty stuff, neighborhoods would be cleaner. People won't take advantage of people. Like, just the little things. People cutting in line. People throwing the trash on the floor. People yelling at cashiers. All those small, crappy things. People just shoving their carts to the side and hand cars to put them in corrals. Like, all those little things that Victor would say something to. If everybody did that. That small percentage of the population who just does crummy stuff, which I don't think is that many people. It's maybe 20% of people that does all this crappy stuff. If the other 80% would put those people in check and speak up, we won't have it. But nobody speaks up. So I definitely agree with Margaret, and that made me well up a bit, because Victor did always say something, even though he knew an ass whooping could come from it. He always said something. Victor is just such a great character, and it's sad that he died, man. It really stinks. It sucks, but they did this in such a good way. This was very funny throughout the entire thing. It's wild that there are no other popular characters in this episode. They wrapped up a show with nobody else. There was no Peppa. There was no Patrick. There was no for me, I cannot think of his freaking name. But the neighbor, again, I don't know. I can't think of his name. There was no Mrs. Warboys. There was nobody else, man. It was just Victor and Margaret, and that's it. So yeah, I really thought there would be more of the other characters, and I think they could have fit the other characters in, but maybe it would have took away from his death. Maybe that's why. But I would think Pepper would be around for something like this and trying to help Margaret through this. But maybe it would have took away from the lady interjecting herself into her life, and took away from Margaret's grief, because maybe Margaret didn't want to be around anybody who didn't understand what she was going through. So I guess that kind of makes sense. She'll want to be away from everybody, because everybody always be telling her it's gonna be okay, and if you need anything, constantly hearing that isn't making stuff better when you don't really understand, losing a partner after being together for so long and being in the face of all these people. Mrs. Warboys has this new love. Of course, old boy next door is gonna try his best to be there for her, but he's never had love. I know she won't want to be mean to him, but you don't know what it's like. You lost your mom, but you never lost a partner because you haven't had a partner. And then also Peppa and Patrick, for the most part, they're pretty young, and they haven't lost anybody. They've been together for so long, so I guess she don't really want their love thrown in her face, and then this guy who's never experienced this loss right there. So I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't be in this episode. But yeah, this was sad, but they did a really good job keeping it upbeat. We still got a decent amount of Victor. I'm glad they showed all the stuff that he went through leading up to his death. Him throwing a needle like a dart and stuff, and showing how in every situation Victor just he's just always himself, man. And always stands up, and this is just such a fantastic show. Definitely gonna miss his character. I'm gonna miss all the situations, all the crazy stuff that happens in the show. This was such a fantastic show that's gonna stick with me for a long time. Similar to shows like Only Fools and Horses and stuff, man. Just has those lovable characters that just impact you. But yeah, this is a good wrap up to a show. I really enjoyed this a ton. Sad to see Victor die. I really want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think Margaret killed her? Or do you guys think Margaret's the type of person who just, will walk away from the situation and she forgave her? Because you saw her put the 2 pills in there, but there's a chance that she really mauled it over and put more pills inside the cup. You know what I mean? You don't know for sure. But I think they left it up to us to kind of think about how is Margaret as a character, And I really think you can say that Margaret would do something like that, but you don't know how the loss of a loved one can change somebody. And Margaret could have been permanently changed because that look on her face was very intense. And no matter how much that lady was crying and talking about what she was going through and how she wanted to be there for Margaret, Margaret's expression did not change that entire time, man. And I think that Margaret was coming to a place of forgiveness with the help of this lady. And now I think she probably could be like wondering, like, can I trust anything, anybody? Like, can I even trust the process of, like, you know, of forgiveness when this person just interjected themselves into my life and just lied this entire time or just hid the truth? I don't know. Losing somebody can change you. So Margaret Mebane is a great person full of forgiveness and probably followed this, like, ultimately, like, Victor's is a great guy, but she lost that person. And in the process, she probably lost who she was. So there's a chance she could have killed this lady, man. You just don't know. So I'm curious what you guys think, man. Really let me know, man. So, all right, folks, that is it, man. That is all for this one. Hopefully you guys are happy, safe, and healthy. I'll see you in the next one. Later.